Oh, you used to have a tick option to turn them off.
Yeah.
I assume there will be I'm almost certain there's an option to turn down particle effects. It's just, you know, like I said, the graphics options don't do much at the minute.
Yeah, later on, they might later on include something that at least, because those are basically unnecessary. Like they're fine to have. Like if you just want a pretty game experience and you don't mind about all that stuff, if you're just going to be running around just playing the game, you're not going to be getting involved in those bigger ones.
Even the big ones, even the smaller stuff has one-shot abilities. Like there's, for example, the one I can think of at the minute is there's a on one of the human quests you have to go into, you have to prove yourself to this gang of thieves, and one of the things they do is they're like, oh, there's this big monster in the lake thing, just go and see if you can kill that, basically, to prove how strong you are. And like that thing hits like a truck.
Yeah.
If you're not dodging that thing, you're going down in 1 or 2 hits. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's more the fact that you can't. When there's just even 5 of you, for example, that's not too bad. There's not too many particle effects going on, and you can still see what's happening. Like the group of us took on a couple of those big veteran bosses, and I had no trouble getting out of the way of what was happening. It was just when there was so many people there, like 30 or 40 people there, that's what caused the problems. I think for group instances, like 5-man group instances or whatever, it's fine to have all those particle effects there, but I think for the bigger ones, they need to make them have something very obvious to say, I'm going to be doing this, get out of the way or I'll kill you, that you can see through all that stuff, or just have an option to just say, okay, right, I've got white circles and red circles. White circles good, red circles bad. Everything else irrelevant. And
sort of on the subject of this, what I think is really interesting is the lack of aggro mechanics, or at least traditional aggro mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, you can't necessarily tank something. You don't have like taunts and aggro meters and stuff like that. It's kind of all about who the boss decides to attack, really.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think there is an extent to which the boss will basically de-aggro if you evade too many of his attacks. So if he gets, he'll get grumpy with someone dealing lots of damage, like most would, but he also gets fed up and just stops attacking you if you're evading too much. So if you're avoiding too many of the attacks, they'll stop attacking you, that sort of stuff.
I don't see how you'd be able to avoid too many attacks though, because dodge system, it only lets you dodge twice before you have to charge it up for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You guaranteed to get hit before then.
Yeah, definitely, because like, I mean, even like if you're playing something especially as like a necromancer or something, like one of those big mobs is going to like two-shot you.
Yeah. And that's sort of what it is, like, because I know I've been fighting one of those big things, and if you, for example, dodge twice and then use one of your abilities to get away, he'll just go balls to that and just bugger off somewhere else. But if he's attacking you and you're taking most of it, and he tries to use one of the big abilities and you dodge that, he'll stick on you. So you can use your dodge carefully to just avoid the big things you need to dodge, and then take the rest. But if you're just using it willy-nilly and just dodging everything they do, then they'll just ignore you. So if it works like I think it does, then you've got to actually carefully use your dodge abilities rather than just going straight out and doing it. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. It's a fun game. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it, really.
I'm looking forward to the. Go ahead, Lana.
All I can say is, as soon as the servers come online permanently, I am doing my 3-day head start to get away from the start area, because it will be worse in this first
Me
beta
too.
event, and it's going to be insane, and I don't want to be stuck in that logging queue ever again.
Just got to sprint straight through it, just get to the higher up zones and just get going. Because I mean, we've seen all the stuff. We can happily skip the cinematics. I say that I'm going to be playing one of the races I haven't played yet. I'm going to leave Asura at least. I'm going to probably play an Asura Mesmer and a Sylvari.
I like how each race you can be every class as well, and like in certain games as well.
No bullshit restrictions for no reason.
Yeah. Which is it's good, and also they all start with a different ability, and I think actually don't know if it is the case because I've not really looked into it, but the char, I think it might actually just be a warrior thing. I haven't really looked into it, but there's like different kinds of helmets or something. I think they might actually get different.
No, that's it.
No, it actually is true.
Thing.
But like they get different ones because I made 2 different kinds of mesmers. I made a norm mesmer and I can't remember what the other race was. I think it was just a human mesmer, just to look at it. And although you get the same choices, like you get different kinds of masks. The Norn have different kinds of masks to the humans.
Alright.
So you do actually get the races, all the classes with them actually have something slightly different. The rangers.
I know the races also give you access to a few unique utility moves. They're not necessarily like apparently ArenaNet have said they're not necessarily like better than others, but they're more flavorful. Like I know the Char get the Charzuka, which is basically a big ass bazooka.
Sweet. I've not really looked into that. There's the other thing. You got the traits which you unlock at level 10, which are another thing similar to the skills or whatever it's called. Yeah, skills. But the traits you unlock, I think you just get one every level. It's similar to talents, rather, from other things. Yeah,
I didn't encounter any of the traits, and I don't know that system at all.
It's weird because what you do basically is rather than it just giving you new abilities, it augments current abilities or something. I think so. On a Guardian, you'll get these traits or whatever they're called, which they always give you a passive stat increase. So there's one which will give you like plus 20 stamina per level you put in it, for example. But they'll also give you trait like augmentations to your abilities. So they'll augment your F abilities, as far as I can tell, to make them better. Did you look into it, Pete? Because I mean, you've played higher level than me, but
I played to level 17 and I just put all my things in one thing, so I get like I put it in the top trait tree of the Necro, and I get like 10 power and like 1% conditions increase or something every level. And then when you get to the 5th one, you unlock a skill. And for me, it was like every time you kill something, you get some health back or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to level 20, so I didn't get to see what the large slot does.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool little system, just because you don't have to stick in the same tree. You can go into other trees and you can get the augmentations on all the minor abilities, or you can go further into the tree and get higher augmentations on the same ability or something.
There was like 6 different ones as well, so there's like various different things you can do.
Yeah, and I think on all the classes you got basically the same stat increases. You get one which does like condition damage and basic damage and stamina and defense abilities, stuff like that. It's
There's one for healing as well.
just to give you weird because they say, like Goro was saying, there's no real way to tank things. And
yeah, they got rid of the Trinity.
Yeah, there's no real healer class either. Everyone can nuke. They say everyone can tank and everyone can heal. Everyone has a heal, but as far as I can tell, Guardian is the best healer.
Necros can't tank.
There might be a way to do so though. Like there might be.
I think it depends on your weapon set, though, because I was playing with a staff.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, like a different weapon set. Yeah, go for it.
I see. I played some of the staff play with the Necromancer, but like my favorite was Dagger and Warhorn. That I could sort of maybe see a basis of being able to tank with that. Not well, but you could. Your 2 was like a life tap, so you could drain health from them constantly, and then your 4 was a very short stun. So I could vaguely see it from that.
Yeah, like I don't think every class can tank as well, obviously, but there's an extent to which every class probably can if they get the right gear, if they get the right traits, if they take the right weapon set. Like I was using Guardian a lot, which is really weird because they have they are basically entirely everything they will do, except the greatsword. Even the greatsword does it to an extent, but not as much as the others. But everything they do will grant boons and effects on the enemy. So they'll always be buffing your allies, always be putting negatives on the enemy, and they're odd in a way because they are tanky, sort of, but they're more tanky in a sense of they block damage to literally everyone. They have a lot of abilities which will just give they've got something which will reduce all damage to all allies near you by like 33% or something. They've got a passive which will block an attack straight away, always, that sort of stuff. And it's really interesting because they, as far as I can tell, a lot of their abilities are based on that sort of stuff. But I was doing PvP later on, and they are insane healers. They heal so much if you put the right gear in. Like you get a set of basic PvP gear, and on that there's a lot of healing power. So I was just rezzing people in combat is insanely difficult most of the time. It takes forever. But
yeah, but you need to be doing it as well. Like it's something like they don't intend for you. It's not like for example in a dungeon in WoW. If like 1 or 2 people go down in your party on a boss, for example, you're screwed. Like you're probably gonna wipe and it's over. Yeah. But in Guild Wars, they don't intend for you to go through every boss encounter or every like hard encounter completely unscathed. Like people will be going down. You're gonna have to be getting people back up and watching each other's backs.
It's hard though, because many a time I've been interrupted whilst taking people up and ended up getting knocked down myself.
Yeah.
You do have to watch yourself.
It's a matter of watching yourself, protecting yourself while you're getting someone up. But
also, in the few classes I played, I kind of feel like some of them have better, obviously not better abilities than when they're stood, but like some of them have really good abilities when they're on the floor, and then others just don't.
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean.
The Necromancer has an ability when he's on the floor to make everyone around him run away from him. Yeah, that's just like awesome, so useful in able to get back up.
Most of them have something like that. The Guardian has a knockback, the Mesmer has a teleportation away. They all have something which gets them away from the enemy, whether it's getting the enemy away from them or them away from the enemy. It's they all have basically the same ability. You all have a channel which will just channel damage into an enemy. They all have the bandage ability.
They don't though, because if I remember correctly, the Ranger ability, like the one that would be like the fear for the Necromancer, the Ranger's ability is call your pet to lick your wounds.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Which is really pathetic because the pet the vast majority of the
Just
time
dies.
is just dead. They die in about 2 seconds, regardless of what you're
I was
doing.
wondering if any other class. I only played Necro, but does any other class have like where you press F1 and you get like some alternate powers and stuff?
Elementalist.
Yeah,
Technically-
F1 is fire, F2 is water, F3 is air, F4 is earth.
Yeah, but you don't get weapon sets as well,
No.
do you?
yeah.
So,
Not as far as I know.
Elementalists get that instead.
but there's no Necromancer's F1 is quite unique. I really enjoyed that. Just being able
You
to
go
turn
into,
into
like,
back
some
in its death form.
Like, so when you play Necro, you like attack things. You build up your. There's a green bar. It's called your life force, and when, well, it doesn't have to be full, but when it's got some life force, you can press F1 and you go into some alternate form and you get some abilities there. That's kind of cool, and it drains your life force. Then you go back to normal.
Yeah. Every class has something like that. The Ranger has the pet bar, which has a bunch of stuff the pet does on the Fs. Guardian has 3 Aegises or something. You've got one which, like I say, they've all got a passive effect. One will create a Aegis every so often, which blocks a hit, or you activate it and you get the Aegis instantly. One every 5 hits you do extra damage, or you can activate it and do the extra damage instantly. And one is a regenerate over time, or you can activate it and heal yourself and allies near you. The Mesmer has, because the Mesmer quite heavily goes around like creating clones and stuff, you get the ability to have up to 3 clones, and then the F1 through 4s are different ways to detonate those clones, and you either deal damage or you do different effects to the enemies near them, like confuse them, slow them, that sort of stuff. So all the classes have something different with that. The Necromancer, I think, is the only one that has something like that. They go into an alternate form.